Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to Thinking Out Loud, another day, another podcast. This is our fourth in a couple of weeks now, and I'm really pleased to bring back computer expert and all-round clever guy, Maell Cullen. How you doing, sir?
Hey Sam, it's all good.
He's back, the most downloaded man for a time, I think. I'll have to check the stats, that's based on nothing. But he's back. We're going to talk about...
I'll take it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the universal income, which is something we spoke about back on episode 4, but we sort of glossed over. And we've spoken off air about universal income. First of all, could you explain what a universal income is? And then, second of all, could you explain your changing opinions on it?
So, a universal basic income is a concept or an idea wherein every single person in a country will be entitled to some amount of money,
okay,
without having to work for it. So
just everyone gets £100 a week or something.
I think the proposed UK one, when the Labour were floating it around, was £100 per week. And say if no one would receive benefits anymore, if you decide to work, then that's fine. You keep your £100 per week, and everything you make afterwards is yours to keep.
You don't have to take it though, do you? Because the argument being that not everyone would take it. The people that are on 50, 60k would actually probably not want an extra 100. They give it to charity or something. Yeah, what I'm saying is you wouldn't have to take it. It's the option of it being there.
Well, I guess it would be sort of automated. I think one of the beautiful things about it is that it would reduce a lot of the bureaucracy in our government, and this is one of my biggest concerns about it.
And that's going to happen with AI anyway. Hopefully. According to what we... again, we'll put a link to episode 4. If we could
smooth over all our bureaucracy with AI, that would definitely be a step forward. But I think one of the most concerning aspects of universal basic income is how effectively it can be implemented by a government, because it would be an absolute nightmare if, let's say,
you have to lay off thousands of people from the benefit system. If you're going to automate all that, you have to say, okay, all you people that come into mine DSS and house, whatever else, you go home, you don't have a job anymore because we don't do this.
And you would just assume that they would be covered by the base rate.
Wow. Okay.
Or then see, this is the problem when you talk about universal basic income. There's
a broad church.
There's no standard model for it. Like every government is different in its own ways. Like if you look at Kuwait, I think they have like 95% of their population works in the public sector.
So because we fucking destroyed everything else. It's like the government and then one 7-Eleven, and that's it.
The 5% of people are just working
in the 7-Eleven
in that one shop.
No unemployment. Exactly, 95 and 5.
It was back in 2011 that the Kuwaiti government did that. They introduced it. 1,000 dinars.
So what's that?
An unconditional.
So what's 1,000 dinars in
$3,580 US dollars.
So about $2,000 a week?
So a country like that, who has a system like that in place where most of the people are getting their money from the government anyway, if they implemented a scheme like this, it would look totally different than if we decided to.
Okay. We being the UK, we should say, for people listening elsewhere.
But a good example, a reason why I'm a bit pessimistic about this, I'm personally from Northern Ireland, and I wouldn't trust the Northern Irish government with anything as complex as this.
Really?
Our government just falls apart every time it has to make a decision on anything. So trying to implement something as complex and to streamline it in a way that would be efficient would just be borderline impossible.
Yeah, I get that.
If you set up this system that's riddled with bureaucracy, and as you say, if people choose not to take it, who manages that? You're just adding bureaucracy on, so you're essentially... You're taking...
Well, not really, because you get rid of 95% of the bureaucracy by laying off all the people that deal with benefits. So if you then have to employ like 5% of people bureaucracy, I'd get rid of 95% of bureaucracy to bring in 5% bureaucracy.
So just 5% is the optimal amount of bureaucracy then?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in sort of Sam's model of the universe, just totally the name of my first comedy special.
And it's all going to be done by robots anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. Fuck, I forgot about the robots. That means I'm going to be first in the oven. So you think that the UK would really struggle? The UK as a whole now, obviously, the UK is leaving Britain, leaving the EU.
Jesus. It's leaving itself.
Kind of is, actually.
So we have Scotland, Wales, England and Northern Ireland. Now, you think we'd really struggle to implement the system?
Well, the Scottish seem quite keen on it. Some of the biggest parties there, they seem to be quite confident that they can get cross-government buy-in for it, maybe at their next election.
Because the Scottish government bring in a lot of progressive politics. Like, do you hear about the baby boxes that they did in
No.
Sweden? In Sweden, whenever you have a baby, they give you a box. In the box is blankets and food and all stuff that you need for the first 100 days of having a baby or something like that. And even the box can be used as a crib.
Oh.
The Scottish government have started doing that for Scottish citizens. So they're clearly open to, like,
That is a really nice idea.
progressive politics. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
I love that when you have a kid, though, you have to walk out through the hospital doors, which is where everyone smokes. It's like their first breath outside is this horrible nicotine maelstrom of...
It was only launched on the 1st of this year. 1st of January.
1st of January, yeah. It's really, really new. So the Scottish government, they've been trying for a while, have they?
So the Scottish just must be taking their cues from the Scandies.
Finland.
In general, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so Finland started a trial in January this year, where they gave, they started a trial group of 2,000 jobless people. I think between like ages of 25 and 60. They gave them the equivalent of £480 a month, starting in January this year.
Do they give it them a month or a week? Do you know what I mean? Do they get a pay, like you would get a payday on the 25th or whatever?
I'm not actually sure. It could be a monthly packet, could be a weekly packet. I'm not 100% sure, but these were people that were already... I think the criteria was that they had to be jobless on November 2016.
Okay.
So they got a random sample of 2,000 of these people, and they're now currently in the scheme. But we won't have any information or data about that until December 2018.
Next year.
19?
Yeah.
2000, yeah.
Because it takes so long to turn around. At which point Scotland might not even be part of the UK. Which
Yeah,
is
but
nuts.
They could have set up their own scheme.
The fuck you England scheme, where we look after people that actually are needing, we treat mental illness like an illness, not a crime. Kabam, take that UK law.
Alright.
And maybe Northern Ireland might have a government again by that time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
That's such a weird... It's just
Remains to
like...
be seen.
Politics is like Evil Knievel at the minute. It just keeps doing madder and madder stuff. It's like, they'll never leave the EU. Left. They'll never elect Trump. Daddy's in the house. Third time's a charm. Is Scotland going to leave?
What's the situation in North of Ireland and their view on Brexit and what's going to happen with Brexit? Was Northern Ireland...
We're having problems getting everyone in the same room together to talk about stuff because they're complaining about people needing to step down and people needing to fund the Irish language, and on that basis we're not even starting to form a government.
Not even close to getting to the basic principal steps.
No, we're closer.
But ironically,
direct
there's
rule
loads
at
of
this
humanities-based principles being adopted there, but I don't know, maybe they come after the basic fundamental
Possibly.
steps.
I mean, you got to
don't
get
know.
everyone in a room to make a decision
No, yeah.
first,
Yeah.
I guess.
You need to unravel that bureaucracy
Yeah.
in the first place that makes
Okay,
innovative
so
schemes
get-
impossible to implement.
We've knocked
Trio
out the
of-
Scottish and the Northern Irish. Do you reckon the Welsh could take a crack at it?
Probably.
Man, small
yeah.
country. What's the population of Wales, Alec? Oh, we should mention we have guest producer Alec in for a third straight run, I think.
Getting
Yes,
all your
lad.
facts.
Getting all your facts. That is good. We love him. Because Wales is quite a small country. Quite
progressive.
well, until they voted to leave the EU. Like a lot of Wales, a lot of industrial towns that got EU funding voted to leave, which makes zero fucking sense.
Everybody gets one.
As of
Little moment of madness.
Nice.
As of 2011, their population in Wales was 3,063,000.
It's quite a lot of people. But I guess
So you seem to be quite in favour for the whole idea.
only because this podcast is now my job and I don't have a real job.
So it would just be nice to get.
So it'd be nice to someone to like. I mean, here's the thing: we need to where we record and whatever else, the city where I live, we have to live, to have money for shoes and clothes, personal spends, and then to pay bills and rent and services and whatever. It's like $1,000 a month. So I have to make a job. We both have to make $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
For example. So if someone was then going to give me £400 a month, like £100 a week, I could then, do something that maybe I want to do,
Yeah.
but for less money. Do you know what I mean? Maybe, I'd love that. I think that's a really fair system.
Yeah, you could get me on the podcast more.
There we go. I
In
can
that
pay
case.
all the lovely people.
Yeah.
He said that with a wink, a charming Irish wink. Yeah, I'd be in favour. I think it's a good idea. I think it shows that you care about people. You want to give them a bit of money. You're holding them up, but you're not totally holding them up. I guess one of my questions is, it was asked to me by someone who I was explaining this to a few months ago, was that, so what do? You give someone £100 a week. What if they then can't live on that? If they're still homeless and they still can't get a deposit? Because you can't really get a deposit
And how do you derive it? How do you land on that number? £100?
Well, that was a figure I read, I think, on the Independent. That's the figure that's been bandied about, like £111 or some bullshit number.
I've also heard that number, but £100 is very different in central London or Bath than it is in a remote country town.
True that. True that. So would we have to govern ourselves by states?
So the whole point of this is that
UK
we don't
states?
have to go through the means testing of people,
Right.
but we have this heterogeneity of income disparity across the country that is going to need some sort of means testing.
Oh, that'll be more bureaucracy. So now we're up to 10% bureaucracy.
So much bureaucracy, and just think of the shenanigans. Like, I mean, look at any form of government. Like, even kids going to school, there are people like dancing across town lines and borough lines trying to get the kids into school. Just think of the shenanigans that are going to happen if you live 200 meters further down your road.
Yeah, I hear that.
You get more money. So
I hear that.
House prices on this side of the road are going to be like 5 times higher than house prices at the other
Yeah,
end
I
of the
hear
road.
that. But you have that anyway. And people are still dying in the streets and on benefit rackets.
No, but you'd have different sense of value if there's an added income weekly or monthly, that would affect people's perception of value in that area.
Yeah, I'm sure it would, but what I'm saying is, you mentioned school lines, Mel, catchment areas for schools.
Yeah.
You have that happening anyway, and the system's still quite broken. So why not? Yeah, have your bureaucracy that sees maybe the United Kingdom states and streets broken up by value, but have it so, okay, you have all this bureaucracy, it's a nightmare, but the byproduct system is not the benefits culture we have now. It's the destigmatised universal income, potentially. Do you see what I mean? Take away benefits and replace them with universal income. Keep the bureaucracy if you have to.
But
It's going to be fucking robots in 10 years anyway.
Is all that uncertainty and the amount of uncertainty that goes into that statement, we don't know how that's
Look
going
around,
to
my friend. We're in uncertain times.
the amount of planning that we'll have to go into, is it really worth?
We're in certain times. The
Just
president...
for the gains that would come from something like this, you'd have to measure, and to see that you'd have to have, I think it's in Finland where they had it for a year to give it a full scope, to see it in a clear cut way. Is now the best time? Maybe is that a question?
Now is the best time. The wound is open. Trump just said, "Oh, if you're from these 12 countries, you can't come here," and he did it, and they have to do it. I can't believe that we can't exert the same power over change for good.
Yeah.
Do you get me? We're in certain times. We could not be the United Kingdom by the time they bring this universal income in.
It's because good is a very, very subjective.
Well, all right, good. Yeah, okay. Different, yes. Good, Paul. Change, then. You know, these are changing times.
Mm-hmm.
The way we view the landscape politically is changing, and socially is changing. So why?
I guess just because you mentioned Trump, there's a guy standing, and he thinks that the universal income, one of the best side effects that can come from it is to lower the effects of right-wing populism. Mm-hmm. Because people now that have job insecurity and stuff, they would feel much better in their own towns and their own homes.
And they're the people...
That's also a byproduct, as you say, of removing that stigma.
They're the people that are classically now leaning towards right-wing parties, aren't they?
If they had some sort of basic universal income and they felt they were being cared for, they might not feel so disenfranchised.
It wouldn't be so much us and them.
Yeah, exactly.
Feeling towards politics. That's a really good point. That would be so weird, because then the byproduct of that would be a progressive society, I guess.
Yeah.
A progressive, left-leaning, I suppose, society.
But
which would be pretty cool.
It itself would not mean a progressive society. It would potentially and ideologically form an even platform where everyone is, in theory, at base level, receiving the same amount of income.
Yeah, we are all the same.
I don't think that in itself creates that sense. There is still human error, obviously, and there is still the chance, as we have benefits now, there is still a chance there for it to be either manipulated or through bureaucracy, which needs to be implemented at potentially an exponential rate. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we're talking about this in the context of our current country and everyone that is in our current country. And
let's hash it out. Let's do it.
And
today we've got a chance that we can post this to fucking .gov something. So how would you make it work today? Right now, if they said, whatever you write down and put in this envelope and push under this door at Downing Street, that'll happen. What do we do? Come on, let's hash it out. That's why we're here.
Give everyone a nice dog or something. Teach them some responsibility.
What the fuck? You can't give everyone a dog.
I know.
You mad, crazy Irishman. Universal income. Not dog income.
Okay, but what? How do you establish how much is enough? How long does that take? And how is that? What does it answer?
All right,
Does
that's
it
what I'm saying. Based on what we know now with the internet.
Okay, so we look at countries where it's been implemented. The Nordic countries was it Finland?
Yeah.
Okay, culturally, has there can this work in a country that's founded on capitalism? Kind of work in that?
But if people have money, they go out and spend it in shops, don't they? So this goes with capitalism.
They have that. There is okay.
Right, people have money, they spend it.
Yeah.
That guy said in the 20s we should create jobs, paying people to dig the trenches and then paying people to sit in them. If that would wipe out unemployment, that's what he was saying. I was reading that today about the 20s and the 30s. The 30s were horrible. We're fucking going back there pretty soon. So if people have money, they have money to spend.
That was similar to Reagan's idea.
I guess.
Where if you incentivize the rich to create more jobs for the poor,
exactly.
then the money will just trickle down naturally.
Yeah.
Trickle down economics.
Yeah, it will trickle down naturally to the everyday person on the street.
Wasn't that George Bush Senior as well? He needed that trickle down economics. That's what they're talking about in Ferris Bueller in the classroom. He called it something do economics. Anybody? Voodoo economics. That's how I know about voodoo economics from Ferris Bueller. Yeah. So I guess it was similar to Reagan's.
And I think he managed to put like an extra 4 or 5 zeros on the end of the American deficit.
Boom.
By doing that.
Nice.
Yeah. Reminds me of
which end of the deficit?
the
end past the point.
The end part, yeah, the non-desirable one. It's like that scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia where it's like, it's not a pyramid scheme, it's a funnel system.
Oh yeah.
Turn it upside down.
Isn't there, they do that in the American Office where Michael, like, okay, so Jim and Stanley, you buy business cards off me and then you sell them to Pam and the other, and Creed, and it's like, so I'm sure this is a pyramid scheme, Michael. He goes, no, it's not. And he draws it, and then John Krasinski grabs the buyer and just draws a triangle around it. It's like the opening scheme. It's like, okay, I have to make some calls.
Maybe pyramid schemes are the solution.
Man, money pie.
But you asked me what my ultimate solution was.
Yeah. Don't call it a final solution. Yeah, I saw the way your eyes moved.
That was close. There is no final solution. And that was my point. That's where the problem is. There is no one solution because it will literally affect every facet of our government.
Around the world as well.
And around the world. So the way we were saying, it will make the UK a liberal utopia where everyone's really happy and involved. But what about the people outside the UK?
Fuck them. Brexit all the way.
Don't need to worry about it. Brexit.
You don't need. I'm telling you, the world stage. That's the attitude. But okay, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? All the expats.
So for someone trying to enter this country, let's say for example, someone living in a non-European or third world country has a partner living here.
Okay.
That they want to join.
Right.
Presently, that person has to be making, I think, it's like £18,000.
Yeah, they should come over.
I think it's a really specifically engineered number that basically means the person can't be on minimum wage and that they have to have like some sort of
full-time employment or whatever.
Yeah, but it's a really awkward number that like sort of wipes out huge catchments of people. But
it's probably 50 quid more than you could earn doing 50 hours a week on minimum wage, like $7.50.
Yeah, but just that extra little bit.
Yeah,
of
it's
taxable income will make.
Bummer. If only you were on £8 an hour, we could have helped you. Back you go.
Stock those shelves, get that two pence an hour raise.
Man.
But that person under some new scheme of universal income trying to join, I can imagine if that person when they got here would be entitled to £100 a week for free. The requirements for entry would probably have to go up somewhere.
Yeah, I get you. See, that's just one extra layer of bureaucracy that you have to bring in to make sure.
It's all bureaucracy.
Well,
it's
but then if there's no way of having no bureaucracy unless you get fucking Hal in to do it, like we said in the last episode.
Yeah.
So just keep all the bureaucracy and say to all the people in the DVLA
or blockchains
or blockchain. Jesus, do you see that thing I posted on your Facebook page about memes being protected by blockchain?
It's a noble work.
Yeah, I mean, the dankest Pepe memes. Well, Pepe, that racist frog.
He's not racist, he just likes to pee in his pants.
Did you...
He's just implemented a lot by people who are often called racist.
Yeah. He's
Did you hear...
He's just a little adorable frog that finds pleasure in peeing himself.
Did you hear about Wendy's?
All he ever was.
That's what he does.
The Wendy's franchise. The Wendy's franchise had this Twitter account has a Twitter account, and someone was saying, "How can you say your beef is fresh if you freeze it? How can it be alive and then not alive and free?" And there was this back and forth with Wendy's, and Wendy's ended up saying to this guy, "Don't get angry at us because you forgot what fridges were," on Twitter, and it got viral. And everyone was retweeting Wendy's, and Wendy's was like, "Oh, great, their PR department's doing really well." And then someone tweeted to Wendy's, Wendy's, at Wendy's, got any memes?" And Wendy's tweeted back a fucking Pepe the Frog done up to look like the Wendy's girl. Little girl Wendy's parade. And it was deleted about 20 minutes later.
That's a shame.
The dankest of memes. I got like screen grabbed about a bazillion times in a second. Such is the internet.
It's a really weird form of thought policing.
What, deleting memes?
People's perception of a meme can make it racist.
Because try and explain a meme to someone, I had to do that to my mum, I think it was, and she went, "What's a meme?" And I went, "It's like a funny joke picture."
It's a thought virus.
Yeah.
It's a picture that you get the context of without someone having to explain it.
But it's
It's
totally...
interesting in like what you were talking with Toby and Ellen about visual language and
Yeah.
that's something as well in the post-internet, not the movement that we joked about a while ago, the post-internet health goth movement. Not that. That is not really.
That's
important.
surely episode 11.
That's for another
But
day.
like what it represents, like joke or not, it's a very, very, very of the moments, isn't it? It's purely the language of people on the of people on mainstream.
That is the language of the internet, then,
That
isn't
is,
it? If the internet is another land, that is the language of
what
speakers
is it? Is it
meme.
mem on scène, isn't it? It's taken from the drama in terminology. It's
I think.
it's to capture a scene. That's the whole point. And meme or a mem or however you choose to pronounce it
Meme.
is meme. I think it is.
Yeah, it's meme.
You go to hell.
Yeah, it is. It's the same people that say GIF. It's GIF, you fuck.
But it's kind of interesting, like, because by accident, indirectly, however else, it captures an essence of what you're talking about.
It's totally governed by context.
Not just text, not just picture or visual. You know. It's
Yeah.
both.
It was
Pretty cool.
Richard Dawkins that coined the
that
term.
guy. Meme.
Yeah, fuck that. I know.
Repeated memes.
I can hear just eye rolls.
Richard Dawkins. Is there a god or not, Richard? Is it language or is it not?
No one cares anymore,
Who
Richard.
cares anymore? I've got 2 of his books and I have
Yeah.
read half of them.
He's relaunching a campaign against.
Oh, against fucking what?
Of course he is.
everyone right now. He wants to have a foothold in the Brexit debate right now.
Which side?
He should.
Yeah, he should, but which
everyone
side?
should.
No, they shouldn't. I know people that voted for Reggie and Bolly to win the X Factor. Those people shouldn't have a deciding vote on whether the UK leaves the EU. What they should have said is, the referendum is on. Do you think a discussion should be held in the Commons and Lords over whether the UK leaves the EU?
Yeah, I know.
That's what should have
I
happened.
I agree with that. Like,
That's what should have
I
happened.
agree, but that's not.
Because we fucked ourselves.
Well, yes, you did. But,
Said as a Republic of Ireland.
yes, but I don't know. I think the question. I think what he's trying to do is have a stake in.
Which side is he taking, sorry?
He said that he doesn't say which side he's on. He's saying that the whole thing. Well, he's being diplomatic. Sorry, but he's saying it was rushed, like you've just said.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sorry, no,
me and
that's-
Dick Dawkins, we're on one.
But Sam didn't try to get the Pope arrested.
He not yet.
No, I mean, episode 13 is going to be a hell of a show.
We're
so-
going to Rome, boys.
Actually, I think episode
Can we
13.
please do an episode in Rome just for
Episode 13, we got to put a shout
anything.
out. We got to put a shout out to episode 13 and Thinking Out Loud is going to be, I think, a UFC cast with Rob Hughes from episode 9, I think, or episode 8. Al Wilson, guest producer, Maell Cullen, and myself. We're going to put a mic down, we're going to record it, watch it on a Sunday morning, commentate it, and then you can listen to it as you watch the fights if you
Right.
record them, because no one stays up to 3 o'clock to
Excellent.
watch
Wonder if
someone that
it's
isn't
possible
Connor.
to do like a live one, like you know,
Possibly.
so
We can get a dish on the roof.
pretty wicked, wouldn't it?
We get a dish on the roof.
Bit way too dangerous though. For stuff
Shitload
like
of
that. Do you know
fun.
what I mean? Like, obviously,
Could get risky.
anything could happen, but like in the context of what might happen, it's a bit. Anyway, so what we thought, like,
We were talking about
yeah.
blockchain memes.
yeah,
Oh shit! And then I talked about Wendy's for the longest time. Oh man, we just blew the speakers out. Sorry guys listening on earphones. We were talking about blockchain memes. I think I was talking about bureaucracy. I think I was saying I have no idea. It's gone.
Do you know who's coming for your memes?
Who's coming for my memes?
The CIA.
Oh, dude. Segue.
how are the CIA coming from memes?
Make memes every day.
That was a nice self-congratulatory.
That was really good, wasn't it? I
like that.
shouldn't have laughed longer. That was a humble brag.
Yeah,
That's great.
could have played that one off.
Also, a little shout out that we've got to do. I have to do. We got. I got tweeted to by Brendan Schaub from Joe Rogan's podcast and the magnificent podcast The Fighter and the Kid. And I tweeted, he was talking about Khabib not making weight for the UFC. And Joe Rogan was saying to him, how do you know about this? How do you know that he hasn't got a dietitian? And Brendan Schaub leans back and goes, I know you're not supposed to be eating tiramisu the week of. That's what I know. Funniest thing, I tweeted Brendan Schaub and I said, I'm a big fan. That's a great line. Funniest bit of the Fight Companion. And he tweeted back these sort of praying thank you hands. And I tried to get him on the podcast, but he ignored me. But now I've shouted him out. We have to tweet him. We have to get the minute.
Third time lucky.
We'll get you on, Brendan.
Brendan, if you're listening,
You're the man.
come on down.
Yeah, buddy. We'll do it on Skype. Awesome. So, blockchain memes and the CIA are coming for him.
Not exactly in that order, but
Okay, so which order?
it could
Yeah, all the right notes. So the CIA don't like memes.
be. No, the CIA are just keeping track of your memes.
Why? Even the shit ones they make on Tickled.
What is Tickle?
Tickled, there's a meme site where you post memes.
They are now.
It's Tick LD. It's really good. We'll link 'em. So even what do you mean they why? My shit memes about Spider-Man.
That was I was
that
trying
one?
I was trying to make a sneaky reference to the Vault 7 release
Which is what?
that happened last week. It was the latest WikiLeaks release of all the internal CIA documents.
Is that Snowden's mob?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Or-
just checking.
Assange's mob.
Oh yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch played. What was it? He played Julian Assange.
Did
It
he?
was.
Yeah, recently.
Well, a couple of years ago, it was the
Obviously
Fifth
recently,
Estate.
not 20 years ago.
It was called the Fifth Estate. Came out a couple of years ago. But your man, the guy who looks like Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, played Snowden in a really good movie directed by Oliver Stone. Really underrated.
Of course, of course, it was Oliver Stone.
It was really good. He was in it. The roommate from Notting Hill, Rhys Ifans. He was in it. It was really terrifying.
Not the same character.
Was it a Hollywood movie? Was there a lot
Yeah, it
of,
was good. It didn't get a good big
I've
release.
cracked the mainframe.
No,
Taken
Da
down
Vinci
the-
Code for millennials.
he came out. He came out. The real Snowden came out and went, "Yeah, don't see it because it's like 5% correct." So then I think that tanked it. So which one is WikiLeaks? Is that Edward Snowden?
WikiLeaks are the organisation that all these people publish their ill-gotten information through,
Right. Okay.
and that's why Assange is currently hiding in an embassy in London.
It's a Russian embassy, isn't it?
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think...
Yeah, that's do that.
No, I think WikiLeaks were a part of both the Snowden and the Bradley Manning leaks.
Oh, right. Yeah, you've talked about.
Although I think some of that was directly to The Guardian.
Right. Okay.
But WikiLeaks have always had a part to play.
So what's WikiLeaks doing now then? What's Vault 7?
They're both published journalists for The Guardian because they published some articles. Bradley now, Chelsea Manning, and Edward Snowden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but WikiLeaks just have a site that is like Wikipedia, but for classified government information that has been sent to them by... It's usually military contractors.
Whoa.
Snowden was a contractor and he just didn't like the stuff that he was seeing. So
He was computers though, wasn't he? Surveillance computers and shit?
Yeah.
I'm going by the film now. He was the one that found out that they can listen to you through anything with a
Like-
grill, apparently.
he didn't find out. He wasn't like selected to just walk through a door and go, oh my god,
Alright.
look at all this stuff.
Here's what's in box number 3.
Did anyone know we had all this stuff? No, he was a traitor, number one.
Ooh, were you in that camp? I think he's
Yeah.
a patriot, sir.
Coming in hot. He knew what he was doing, and he was the only... To be fair, Snowden... I have a lot more respect for what Snowden did than what Chelsea Manning did,
Okay.
even though they're both really controversial.
Okay.
Chelsea Manning released lots of information during wartime about American military activities.
As in where they were going to attack in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Sort of like practices and standards and different bases and stuff, and like unredacted names of people
Wow.
and like undercover agents and everything. So like he seriously damaged.
So people in the field had their cover blown.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really bad.
Whereas Snowden's leaks are more to do with the information security surveillance programs.
Aren't they giving those programs out now?
The methods of finding out. Manning gave away information. Snowden is giving away how the methods that they use to obtain that
She gave
information.
away the what, he gives away the how, which I
Yeah.
guess is slightly less dangerous. Aren't they giving all those programs, the surveillance programs, to companies now? They said they're making them available to public limited companies. I heard that.
Haven't heard about that. But that's the danger of these leaks.
Yeah.
So if we have you say trusted, I'm being devil's advocate for the actual devil, the CIA and the NSA here. But I mean, so much money, and as British taxpayers, our money goes into that too, because they're very closely aligned with GCHQ. So much money has gone into getting this information, and instead of saying, look, this is what they're doing with this money and this is the chokehold that they have over all of your data, they give proof of that away, essentially giving all those hacking tools and all this information that we've, like, the amount all of that cost can't be underestimated, and he has essentially given it to anyone with an internet connection.
Yeah,
So
doesn't
some
sound great.
guy in a hut in Czechoslovakia can use tools developed at GCHQ to spy on you in a way that you are angry at your government doing. But because you can hold the government accountable,
Potentially as well, that creates a vacuum for people to cause more worldwide problems as well.
yes,
Leading to probably more surveillance and more need for surveillance, ironically.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
undoing all that work that was done. So whether or not you think that work was morally justified, you've just undone it. So now it's
yeah.
So it's out of your hands anyway.
yeah.
Alternatively, maybe it could have maintained news spread, but the means of which not given away.
Yeah.
Would that have been possible?
So a lot of people would have had problems with that, because then people wouldn't have been able to confirm it.
Because the proof of getting it was the means again.
Exactly.
Right,
So once
right.
once people can literally see the programs that they were using to surveil people, they're like, okay, yeah, well, they were definitely doing this.
Yeah.
Alex is clued up as fuck. You're sketchy, man.
Read the papers a lot as well. All the papers.
That sounds pretty terrifying. So what did you mean when you said the CIA wants to have memes? What was that?
So as a part of the leak last week, there was a really fun section of it where they were just collecting like all known emojis that people use on the internet, like those ridiculous
like
little-
combinations and stuff.
like
No
little
way.
ASCII faces, like a big, huge database of them.
I love to. They got like a memory stick that's all just like aubergine tears, aubergine tears, aubergine golf ball, aubergine tears.
They replace algorithms, you know. It's like what happens if we...
Where happens to all the zeros and ones? It's just aubergines and tears. All the way fucking down, man.
I think they've just theorized now that the meme's going to be nothing but memes in 5 years' time, so they'll just shut the whole thing down.
No way, there'll be no memes anymore. It's like when they kill all the mutants in Logan. You seen that yet, Logan?
I haven't.
Man, he goes fucking crazy. He goes off the hook, knifing people in the head, brains and shit.
I've heard they've gone for a bit more X-rated angle.
Man,
It's not a...
there was a bit where there's this 11-year-old girl who has claws, and she gets...
Should we say spoilers?
Oh, spoilers. You should have seen it. It's been out for a month. This little 11-year-old girl with claws, she's all bloodied up, she's ripping throats out, she gets shot through the shoulder with a harpoon, she's screaming, you think they're going to take the camera off, and no, she lops it off and keeps fucking going. Really but she's really good, like Hugh Jackman, Stephen Merchant from The Office is in it, he's Taliban. He's really, he's
What's
cool,
he
man.
doing?
He's a Taliban?
He's Caliban, he's dressed like a fucking Taliban, he's got rags and goggles, and he's in it, and Patrick Stewart's in it, they're all really good. And but the little girl he plays, who's presumably going to be their Wolverine character for the next 20 years.
So are you
she's
telling me
good.
there is a chance that I get to see Stephen Merchant getting...
Yeah, he gets. He doesn't get knifed. He blows some fuckers up.
I see. I'd pay more for the...
Fear the light, and he drops a grenade, and the whole place goes up. And there's a
I don't believe that.
There's a mutant.
Stephen Merchant cannot be badass. Have you seen that man?
He's really good. There's a mutant called X-24, which is the new and improved Wolverine, who looks like Hugh Jackman, but 20 years ago, and he's buff, and he shaved his head, and he looks like Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC fighter. He's just all he goes around in this black tank top, just wandering around, claws and fucking the whole shebang.
Nice.
It's a dope movie. It's really good.
Did that little girl on the raft also have those like adamantium? Does everyone have adamantium?
She hasn't.
bones?
She doesn't have adamant. She has bone claws, so it's more like hack and slash, like a dog claw. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. So, the CIA want our memes. We've nailed that off,
And they can get them.
and they can get them with shocking ease. What else? The universal income.
But what I did want to
It
say
needs
about
to be debated.
It does.
They got to at least have the conversation. Don't keep it at arm's length.
Yeah. But people like us should be having the conversation.
We are
because
having the conversation.
We're not
That's
getting,
what we're doing, brother.
We're not getting paid like £60,000 a year to eventually sort it out.
Unless
Should
the
have some-
campaign
Do you mean
for...
it needs to be made obvious to broader public that it's really important for them to discuss why they aren't having enough to live on?
Yeah, so
It
so
is
we,
sure.
so,
for sure.
Well,
so we don't
Jeez,
justify
we've looped this
having,
round really well.
having a talking shop for 2 years
Yeah.
and then
Echo
not doing
chamber.
nothing.
Yeah, well, you get a think tank for. You'd hope that it would form through a collective movement with people and through their knowledge and their understanding of it, and maybe through their committees locally, that could be collated and then that be formed with a think tank, rather than the other way around, where you have pockets of think tanks formed, hoping, engaging for the best of each region, right?
Yeah, every county has its own system.
And that's what.
Yeah. And another thing. No, it's been really good having you on, Mel.
Oh, nice.
That's fantastic.
Thanks for having me on again.
No, it's been great. Do come back again because there's so much more to talk about. We'll all have been replaced by robots. So thank you very much, Mel. Thank you very much, guest producer Al.
Thank you.
And basically contributor.
It's okay.
Yeah, this has been Thinking Out Loud. We're on SoundCloud, we're on Twitter. We've just about fixed the YouTube because we drove the computer out. I wish I was kidding. And we'll be uploading videos soon. But for now, like, listen, share and subscribe. This has been Thinking Out Loud. Thank you very much.